I think for me, painting is like one way to explore the unconscious. My painting just try to engage my right hemisphere, so the other world, which is unconscious. I want to let it free somehow. I want to develop it on the canvas. I want to see what comes out. My name is Petra Schott. I am an abstract painter, mostly abstract from Germany. I'm here in Jackson's art studio. And I will talk about my work and all questions around my art. Before I wanted to study law, I wanted to be a psychoanalyst. This was my wish to explore the unconscious and to understand how people react, what goes on in their minds. And so at a time I said the greatest wish is to be one day in a different person, to understand how their brain and their mind and so functions. So I wanted to do this. And then for law, that was the decision to understand how society as a whole functions and to understand this a bit more. What are the rules? What must be the rules? What should be the rules? That so many people together can function as an organism in a way. I studied and then started working as a judge. I did this for quite a long period, so I think 18 years or so in the legal field. And I returned to what I really, really loved most. It is painting. People ask me, how could you move from law to painting? So it happened in my first law exam when I was studying in Göttingen, Germany. And I was very exhausted. It's a very stressful time. This first law exam, you work. You come home in the evening totally exhausted in your mind. You're really, in a way also stuck. And then I thought, what can I do now? And then I rediscovered an old gift from a friend. It was a watercolor set. And I said to myself, that could be something. You can just sit down, do something with your hands without thinking, and just use your other hemisphere. And from that moment on, I painted something what I saw. And it was so relaxing and so comforting in a way. So I kept it. I started copying old masters, I'd say, like Paul Klee, who has done wonderful aquarels, and August Macke. They did it in Tunis. So I did this for some time. I had taken such an interest in developing my art further that I felt now or never, in a way. After my second law exam, I applied to this academy, and if I'm accepted, it is a sign that I should pursue it. And I applied, and I was amazed because I was, of course, older than most of the students at the time, that I was accepted, and I was very proud, of course. And I thought that will give me more material and more ways to explore further what I want to do, and also give me a good base to do so. So I did this in the beginning. What it showed me, of course, was to go deeper, to have a clear structure, what I want to do, to use different materials, different forms of expressing something. I mean, you choose a subject and then you work on it for half a year, for one semester, for instance. In different techniques. And so this was good, I must say. Really, this was good. This helped me later to go on. I was figurative in the beginning for quite some time. There were always periods where it was more abstract, and then I would return to figurative. But it was, I call it figurative abstract. So it was a mixture of both. And it still is. So I have periods where you can recognize forms, bodies, human beings in my paintings. It is always a mixture. I'm not totally abstract, but it has more and more developed towards abstract painting. The interesting thing about being abstract is that you can put more emotion also into it than into a figurative painting. The more you withdraw from the exact shapes of what you see to something more abstract, the more you can give it your own value and you can introduce it into your own world in a way. My theme is my life. It may sound a bit funny, but it is true. I mean, I try to incorporate all what I go through into my paintings. So it might be something beautiful like a summer day. It might be something more heavy, like something was happened in your private life, a death, or somebody falls ill. Or also you read something beautiful. I love the poems of Mary Oliver. It is also centered about being a woman, of course. So in my paintings, you will vaguely see human figures and often female bodies. Then it's nature. I love to walk in nature, do long hikings, which I do once a week. I think the colors of the seasons appear in my paintings. I often work in series. It is also not my intention. So I don't know in the beginning, will that develop as a series or is it only one single painting? Sometimes I have wonderful ideas, but they are so wonderful I can't put them into my paintings. And if I do so, I'm so fixed on this idea that the painting is useless. It's nothing. And I have to leave it open, start, see what happens, react to what happens on the canvas, and have the painting develop in a free way and not limit it to what I had as an intention. Sometimes I start painting blindly. I close my eyes and just take a little pencil, and then I would draw on the canvas and see what happens. And then I always do it with a left hand also. Not always, but very often with the left hand. I'm right-handed, but I like to do it with left because the drawing gets more lively and it's directed from the right hemisphere, though it's more the intuitive side of my person. So I like to use that side, and I'm really surprised. Also, drawings get better when you do it with the left hand, and then they are more lively, more direct. The speech of this drawing is more direct. What I use for painting is very conventional, mainly brushes and my fingers. I use no palette knives practically. Only for priming, I use this to have it really a fine layer and very smooth and so. But for painting with oil colors, I only use brushes in different sizes though. So I think I don't use any other materials apart from my fingers. When it has to go quick, I rub a little bit into the paint. I rub the color into the painting. Then I use my fingers. Yeah, the brush is very. You have it in your hands. You have a very direct connection to the canvas. I mean, even more with the fingers. I like that very direct connection. I like to scribble into my paintings, but the scribblings are not always meant to be readable by a viewer later. I listen to music very often when I'm in my studios, and sometimes I just scribble in something, the text of the song which appears, which pops up there, or also a line of a poem I remember. I also love the graphic character of writing. So I think it's very different from brushwork. So I like the fine lines, and it opens a different world for me. In the beginning of this year, I have again started to paint on raw canvas. And I must say I love it. It's somehow it's more strenuous, but I love the results. And I find the results so different from pre-primed canvas that I think it's a different way to paint. And I want to explore this further, for example. I also have started now again to use more scribblings and charcoal in my paintings I find that exciting. I mean, it's just something, a new medium can open up a whole world, a whole painting world. So I want to incorporate these scribbling, these drawings with charcoal or with pencil or so more into my paintings. When my paintings come to a certain stage, nearing completion, I often have the feeling, yeah, it only needs some brush strokes here and there, perhaps. Often the beautiful little spots are the ones which you have to destroy. The painting only grows into what I want to achieve when I dare to destroy these beautiful spots. I mean, you know the saying, kill your darlings, and it's that one. You in order to achieve something beautiful or something else, you have to do that. And this point of destruction for me is always difficult. And sometimes I wait and I try otherwise. I try to circumvent this difficult moment. No, doesn't work. I have to go through that. This is this moment, what I call destruction, and then very often that is then something new opens, a new door opens, and then you see it, and then you can go on again. Painters I really love. Cy Twombly is one of them, certainly. I'm fascinating since long, really. I loved him since I can remember that I got interested in abstract painting. I love the finesse of his works and of course the scribblings and also the intensity. I still don't know how he achieves this intensity in his paintings, though they are so loose. It's for me, it's fascinating. I also love Joan Mitchell for her use of color and bold brush strokes and so. Of course, I love Tracy Emin. I got to know her, I think, at the Biennale in Venice, and I was fascinated. And from then on, I've followed her work. She's so open and honest with her life and with her emotions. I really adore that. I must say, she's also a continuous inspiration for me. These are all painters. When I feel I don't know how to go on, I look at their works. Also, Instagram is a source of permanent inspiration. It's like going through a continuous museum of modern art in a way. So there also I get inspiration. I mostly use oil paints. I have also used other mediums like acrylic colors and also self-made egg tempera. I think it's oil colors which I like best. It's because of the texture, and I think oil colors have the most natural tone and most natural hues. I think acrylic sometimes can look a little bit artificial, sometimes also a bit dead in a way. And for some ways of painting, this is of no interest, it's fine. But from my way of painting, I like this saturated look. I like the full color and the texture. If you put layer upon layer, this is also a specialty of oil, I think, that with oil you can put layer upon layer. You can even put light colors on dark colors, which is difficult with acrylics, my experience. So in a way, with oil you can also go over your mistakes. You can change your painting without it getting a somehow dead or too closed look. So I like the all the possibilities which are open with oil, and I like the splendid colors which you can buy nowadays. I have used other mediums. At a time, I used egg tempera because I liked the way of doing it. I mean, you use an egg, you use oil, you use water, and this is your sort of sauce, your medium, and then you add the pigments, the powder, basically. So it's a very easy way of getting your own colors, but the colors are a bit more, I would say, subdued. To really get a luminous color, this is more difficult with egg tempera, but it's also a very natural color, and that you can see and feel. So that I liked about egg tempera painting. I also use oil sticks. Yeah, there are beautiful oil sticks. I don't want to promote certain marks here, certain oil sticks here, but they are lovely oil sticks, so highly pigmented too that they give an extra touch to a painting. So I love red as an oil stick, for instance. So this intense red. It gives always a certain serenity to a color if you use certain red oil stick. Or also I love the pink oil sticks. I mean, this very luminous oil sticks I love and I apply a lot, yes. I have one bigger place where I paint, which is very messy, and where all the paintings which are in the process are on display, are stored. And then I have one part where I store older works of a certain size, smaller works. And then I have one room, or one part of my studio where I have one white wall where I could display my work when I look at it, because I spend a lot of time looking at this work and I need some distance and I need a white wall. I would never work on a desk, funny enough, but my desks are always full of other things, so I wouldn't have the choice. But I often work with an easel if the painting is not too big and if it's stretched already on the wooden bars. Sometimes also on the floor if I don't want the paint to run down. I have some pieces of canvas which are really huge, so 2 meter 90 per 2 meter 90. These I fix to the wall and then paint on it. And you can hang it as a carpet, in fact. It has these openings, so you could put something through and then hang it like a carpet. But people can also stretch it. But stretch such a big painting in my studio is a challenge, I'd say. So I leave that like it is as a loose canvas. I feel I can't get in the right mood. I don't know what to do. Or so sometimes I put the music loud and dance in my studio. Sometimes I read. I read a poem. There is no wasted day, even if you don't know what to do in your studio. You can do other things. You can unstretch something. You can stretch something. You can do these sort of works. It never takes long for me to get inspired. So I'm lucky in that respect. If I feel a painting is going wrong, it becomes more difficult. I mean, the easiest solution would be take it down, start another one, and cut it and make something else out of it. But I can't do that very often. If there's already a lot of paint on it, it gets more and more difficult to turn it into something I like. Very often I let it rest for quite some time. So I let it rest, let's say for a month or even for 2 months. And then sometimes comes a moment where, yeah, it calls me. And I say, now is the day, I can try again. And then sometimes I can save it. In most cases, I can somehow save it and make something different. But sometimes it also happens that I say, no, it's not worth to spend so much time, so much color on this painting anymore. You take it down from the wooden support and you make something else out of it. I always work on several paintings because, oil needs time to dry normally. So it needs 2 days, 3 days. It depends which colors and how thick you have applied the paint. But it needs some time to rest. So if you want to go on every day, you have to work on several paintings in order to be able to do something every day in your studio. And this is what I do too. So I have always several paintings where I work on, maybe 6 perhaps or so. Some stay for longer because I don't know how to go on. Some I like so much that I'm so afraid of going on and spoil them. It's also, I can't go on. With some, it's just a never-ending process. I apply something else. No, it's not happening. So some paintings really need a lot of time. Some are easygoing, really. The titles are important. I think I have no painting left untitled. For me, it is the challenge is to find something what I want to express in this painting. And sometimes it's series. So I have a big series called Magical Walks. As I said, I walk a lot. I like to hike and so, and it developed from these hikings. And from time to time, I do another one. I have like 20 in the series or so. So there it's clear and it's easy. But the series or also the paintings which are not part of the series, I really want to have a title which meets what is in there, and that's not always easy. And sometimes my painting is done and completed, but I wait for the title to come up, and in a way it's a dialogue with the painting again, that I ask them to tell me what I can name them. And sometimes this needs quite some time. I mean, I have a tentative name, perhaps title, and I note it down. But I often feel no, it's not quite it, and I wait. Normally, I wait before I'm clear with the title. I'm really sure that this is the right title for the painting. Be open to listen to your inner voice and be present in your inner space, that you know what you really want to do, and develop this line, develop your own individual style and also technique. I mean, the longer you paint, the more you get confident that you will progress and you will go there where your work wants to go and where you want to go. So I would say the most important thing is going on, do what you really love.